There was a small town called Riverstone, where people believed success belonged only to the lucky, the rich, or the naturally talented. In that same town lived a young man named Ethan. Ethan was not lazy. In fact, he was always busy. He had dreams bigger than his room, bigger than his town, bigger than the life everyone expected him to live. He wanted to build something meaningful. He wanted to prove that his life could become more than just waking up, working, scrolling, sleeping, and repeating the same empty routine every day. But there was one problem. Ethan could never stay consistent. One day, he would feel unstoppable. He would write down goals, clean his desk, watch motivational videos, and promise himself, "This time, I'm serious." The next day, he would sleep late, wake up tired, check his phone, waste half the morning, and tell himself, "I'll start tomorrow." Tomorrow became next Monday. Next Monday became next month. And slowly, his dreams started feeling heavy. Not impossible, just far away. Across the street from Ethan lived an older man named Mr. Carter. He owned a tiny repair shop that had been open for nearly 40 years. The shop was small, quiet, and simple. No big sign. No fancy advertising. No loud promises. But every morning, before the sun came up, one light was always on inside that shop. At exactly 5 a.m., Mr. Carter was there. Sharpening tools. Cleaning the workbench. Writing notes. Fixing one important thing before the rest of the town even opened its eyes. Ethan noticed it many times from his bedroom window. At first, he laughed. Why would anyone wake up that early, he thought. That's crazy. But one night, after wasting another entire day, Ethan sat on the edge of his bed with a notebook in his hand. The page was full of unfinished plans. Start business idea. Go to gym. Learn editing. Save money. Wake up early. Everything was written down. Nothing was done. He looked out the window and saw the repair shop light glowing in the dark. And for the first time, he felt something different. Not motivation. Shame. He realized Mr. Carter was not more talented than him. He was not younger. He was not richer. He did not have more energy. But he had something Ethan did not have. A routine. The next morning, Ethan walked into Mr. Carter's shop. "Can I ask you something?" Ethan said. Mr. Carter looked up from his work and smiled. "Of course. How do you do it every day?" "Do what?" "Wake up early. Work before everyone else. Stay so consistent." Mr. Carter placed a small screwdriver on the table and leaned back. "I don't wake up at 5 a.m. because I love mornings," he said. "I wake up at 5 a.m. because I made a promise to myself a long time ago. And I got tired of being the kind of man who breaks promises to himself." Those words hit Ethan harder than he expected. Mr. Carter continued, "Most people think discipline means forcing yourself forever. It doesn't. Discipline means choosing one important action and repeating it until it becomes part of who you are." Ethan stayed silent. "So what should I do?" he asked. Mr. Carter pointed at the clock. "Pick 1 hour. Same time every day. No negotiation. No drama. No excuses. For the next 90 days, protect that hour like your future depends on it." Ethan frowned. "Only 1 hour?" Mr. Carter smiled. "One honest hour every day can beat 10 emotional hours once a week." That night, Ethan made a decision. He would wake up at 5 a.m. Not to become a morning person. Not to look disciplined. Not to impress anyone. But to prove to himself that his words still meant something. The first morning was brutal. The alarm rang at 5 a.m., and every part of Ethan's body begged him to stay in bed. His room was cold. His eyes burned. His mind instantly started negotiating. You slept late. Start tomorrow. 1 more hour won't hurt. But then he remembered Mr. Carter's words. No negotiation. So Ethan got up. He did not feel powerful. He did not feel inspired. He did not feel like a hero. He felt tired. But he was awake. And for that first morning, awake was enough. The second morning was even harder. The excitement of starting something new had disappeared. There were no fireworks. No sudden burst of motivation. Just another alarm ringing in the darkness. This time, Ethan almost gave up. His hand reached toward the alarm, ready to hit snooze. Then a simple question entered his mind. If I break this promise today, why would I trust myself tomorrow? That single thought pulled him out of bed. He dressed quietly, poured himself a glass of water, and sat at his desk while the world outside was still asleep. For the first hour, he didn't try to do everything. He focused on just one task. Learning a valuable skill that could change his future. No phone. No social media. No unnecessary distractions. Just deep, uninterrupted work. The first week felt painfully slow. Some mornings he struggled to stay awake. Some mornings he stared at the screen for 10 minutes before his brain finally woke up. Some mornings he wondered if any of this was even worth it. But he kept showing up. Not because it was easy. Because he had made a commitment. Days slowly turned into weeks. Something unexpected began to happen. The early mornings no longer felt like punishment. They became peaceful. While everyone else was sleeping, Ethan found something he had never experienced before. Silence. There were no notifications. No endless messages. No interruptions. No pressure. Only time. And for the first time in years, time felt like it belonged to him. Meanwhile, his friends laughed at him. You actually wake up at 5? Why would anyone do that? Life is too short. You'll quit in a week. Ethan simply smiled. He had learned something important. People often criticize the habits they are unwilling to build themselves. Instead of arguing, he kept working. Every morning he studied. Every morning he practiced. Every morning he improved by just 1%. It didn't feel dramatic. It didn't feel life-changing. Most mornings looked exactly the same. But that was the secret. Progress doesn't usually look exciting while it's happening. It looks ordinary. One afternoon, Mr. Carter handed Ethan a tiny acorn. Do you know what this is? He asked. A seed. Exactly. He pointed toward a giant oak tree standing outside the shop. That massive tree started exactly like this. Ethan looked at the tiny seed in his hand. It didn't become strong in 1 week, Mr. Carter continued. It survived storms. It survived winters. It kept growing a little every single day. Consistency made it powerful. Then he looked directly into Ethan's eyes. Your habits are seeds too. Most people dig them up every few days to see if they're growing. Successful people simply water them every day. Those words stayed with Ethan. From that moment on, he stopped expecting immediate results. Instead of asking, how much have I improved today? He started asking, did I keep my promise today? That small change transformed everything. 30 days passed. His mornings became automatic. His focus became sharper. His confidence slowly returned. Not because he had become successful yet, but because he had finally become reliable. He no longer doubted whether he would do the work. He already knew the answer. Yes. One rainy morning, the electricity went out across town. Most businesses opened late. Many people stayed home. But Ethan still woke up at 5 a.m. Without electricity, he grabbed a notebook and began planning his future by candlelight. When Mr. Carter saw him later that morning, he smiled. "You understand now." "Understand what?" Ethan asked. "Discipline isn't doing the work when conditions are perfect. It's doing the work when conditions are terrible." Months earlier, Ethan needed motivation to begin. Now he needed nothing. The habit itself carried him forward. He had stopped negotiating with his emotions. Instead, he trusted his system. Every morning became another vote for the person he wanted to become. Not perfect. Not extraordinary. Just dependable. And dependable people quietly accomplish extraordinary things over time. By the end of the second month, Ethan noticed changes that had nothing to do with productivity. He felt calmer. He worried less. He made decisions faster. He no longer carried the guilt of unfinished promises. For years he had believed confidence came after success. Now he realized something different. Confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself. Success simply follows. Mr. Carter often reminded him. Anyone can work hard for one day. Very few people can work faithfully for 100 days. That's where lives begin to change. Ethan finally understood. The alarm clock wasn't his enemy. It was his daily opportunity to prove that excuses no longer controlled his future. The third month arrived quietly. There was no dramatic breakthrough. No overnight success. No miracle waiting at Ethan's doorstep. But something far more valuable had happened. He had become a different person. The old Ethan waited until he felt motivated. The new Ethan simply showed up. Whether he felt energetic or exhausted, excited or discouraged, he kept his appointment with himself every single morning. One afternoon, an opportunity appeared. A local business owner needed someone to redesign his company's online presence. The project required skills, discipline, and reliability. Months earlier, Ethan wouldn't have been ready. He wouldn't have had the knowledge. He wouldn't have had the confidence. Most importantly, he wouldn't have trusted himself to finish. But now everything was different. Because of those quiet mornings, he had practiced every day. Because of those repeated promises, he had built discipline instead of excuses. He accepted the project. He finished it before the deadline. The client was impressed. Then another client came. Then another. Word spread through the town. People weren't just hiring Ethan because he was talented. They hired him because he could be trusted. That was something many skilled people failed to offer. One evening, Ethan sat outside Mr. Carter's workshop as the sun disappeared behind the hills. "I thought success would feel louder," Ethan said. Mr. Carter smiled. "Real success is usually quiet." Ethan looked confused. "The loud part is social media," Mr. Carter continued. "The quiet part is waking up when nobody is watching. Doing the work when nobody is clapping. Keeping your promise when nobody would know if you broke it." Those words stayed with Ethan forever. A year later, his life looked completely different. He was healthier. His business was growing. His income had increased. His confidence had returned. His family noticed the change. His friends noticed the change. But the biggest change wasn't visible. It happened inside him. He no longer argued with himself every morning. He no longer depended on motivation. He no longer waited for the perfect mood. His habits made the decisions before his emotions had the chance. One morning, a teenager knocked on the door of Mr. Carter's workshop. "Can I ask you both something?" the young man said. "What's the secret? How did your lives change so much?" Mr. Carter looked at Ethan. Ethan smiled. A year earlier, he would have talked about business strategies. He would have mentioned books. He would have explained productivity systems. Now his answer was much simpler. It started with one promise. The teenager looked puzzled. "What promise?" "I promised myself that every morning, at the same time, I would show up. No matter how I felt. No matter how difficult the day seemed. I stopped asking myself whether I wanted to work. I only asked whether I was going to keep my word." The teenager nodded slowly. "So waking up early is the secret?" Ethan shook his head. "No. Early mornings are just one example. The real secret is becoming someone who honors their commitments." Mr. Carter added. "You can wake up at 5. You can wake up at 6. You can wake up at 7. The exact hour isn't what changes your life. What changes your life is refusing to negotiate with the habits that build your future." Years passed. Mr. Carter eventually retired. Before locking the workshop for the final time, he handed Ethan the old clock that had hung on the wall for decades. "This isn't just a clock," he said. "It's a reminder." "A reminder of what?" Ethan asked. "That every great life is built 1 hour at a time." Ethan carefully carried the clock home. He hung it above his desk. Every morning, before beginning work, he looked at it. Not because the clock possessed any magic, but because it reminded him that every sunrise brought another chance to keep his promise. Eventually, Ethan became successful beyond anything he had imagined. People admired his achievements. They asked about his routines, his mindset, his discipline, his success. Some expected a complicated answer. Instead, Ethan smiled and said, "My life didn't change because I found the perfect opportunity. It changed because I stopped breaking promises to myself." And that is the lesson. Every day, your future quietly asks you one question. Will you keep your word today? Not tomorrow. Not next Monday. Today. Because every excuse makes your excuses stronger. Every promise you keep makes your character stronger. Your future isn't built in one extraordinary moment. It's built in ordinary mornings. Ordinary choices. Ordinary actions repeated with extraordinary consistency. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need endless motivation. You don't need to feel ready. You need one commitment. Then another. Then another. Day after day. Week after week. Month after month. One day, you'll look back and realize something incredible. Your habits didn't just change your schedule. They changed your identity. And once your identity changes, everything else begins to change with it. Remember this. Success doesn't belong to the most talented. It doesn't belong to the luckiest. It belongs to the people who keep showing up long after excitement disappears. Because consistency is stronger than motivation. Discipline is stronger than emotion. And the person who learns to keep promises to themselves can build almost any future they choose. So tomorrow morning, when the alarm rings, don't ask yourself how you feel. Ask yourself one simple question. Am I the kind of person who keeps my word? Answer that question with your actions. Again. Because that's how ordinary people become extraordinary.